Rewritten Narrative. Shane, host. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Reddit Stories, where we dig into jaw-dropping, bizarre, and sometimes downright hilarious accounts found online. I'm Shane, and today's theme is all about parties, celebrations, and special events that go unexpectedly, sometimes horribly, wrong. Because hey, who doesn't love a good train wreck at a party, right? Joining me today are two of my good friends, Angela and Chance. Together, we'll dissect these stories, share our opinions, and see what lessons we can learn, or at least laugh about, in these chaotic scenarios. Angela. Thanks for having us, Shane. I'm excited to see what today's drama is going to be. Parties and celebrations going wrong? Sign me up. Chance. I'm here for it too. I've been to a few celebrations myself that have gone sideways, so I know how wild these stories can get. Shane. Before we dive in, have either of you been at a party that completely derailed? Angela. Oh, absolutely. When I turned 16, my family threw me a surprise birthday party at a theme restaurant. They invited mostly my mom's friends, barely any of mine. I hate surprises and hate attention when I can't control it, so I basically freaked out. I screamed, ran outside crying, and refused to come back until my dad coaxed me in. It was embarrassing and definitely killed the vibe. I regretted the meltdown later, but at 16 I just couldn't handle it. Chance. I've seen a couple of awkward surprise parties too. Sometimes the couple or person you're celebrating shows up in a foul mood because they were arguing in the car moments before. Then they have to fake smiles in front of all these guests who jump out yelling, "Surprise!" In one case, the couple got into such a big argument mid-party that they left halfway through. Great food and drinks for the rest of us, though. Shane. Yikes. It just shows how delicate celebrations can be. Let's jump into our first story, which comes from the Am I the Asshole subreddit. It's about a birthday party tradition gone wrong. Ready? Story 1. The Cake-Smashing Mom. A 15-year-old writes that his mother thinks the height of humor is smashing her kids' faces into their birthday cakes. Every birthday, without fail, she surprises them from behind and splat, face first into the frosting. He hates it and told her, "If you do this again at my next birthday, I'd rather have no cake or party at all." She promised not to do it, but he knew she was lying, because that's just who she is. So the kid devised a plan. He prepared a realistic fake injury trick. On his birthday, as expected, the mom smashed his face into the cake. He screamed like he'd been shot, quickly pulled away and covered his eye, using a patch concealed in his hand that had a fake candle stub and fake blood. He pretended his eye was severely injured. His friends played along, one pretending to gag and run off. The mom fainted when she saw this injury. Nurses were called. The party was in chaos. After a moment, he revealed it was a joke, showing that he was fine and that the eye injury was fake. Everyone was furious at him initially, but he showed texts from his mom promising not to smash his face this time. She had lied. He argued this wouldn't have happened if she'd respected his boundary. Now his mom is livid at him for exposing her lie and making her look like a bad parent in front of everyone. Angela. Honestly, I love how the kid turned the tables. Yes, it's dramatic, but he tried a million times to ask his mother to stop. She promised, and then broke her promise. She had it coming. Chance. It's hilarious and maybe a bit over the top, but still, he warned her. She dismissed his feelings. Smashing someone's face into a cake without their consent is not cool. I don't blame him for the revenge trick. Might have been extreme, but hey, now she knows how he feels. Shane. I think the mom is the bigger asshole here. She betrayed his trust. The kid's stunt was just a response to her constant boundary crossing. The internet agreed with him. She's the one who forced this scenario. Next story? Story 2, Bridesmaids or Not. This next story is about a wedding scenario. A woman, 27, has a friend named Jane, 28, who just got engaged. Jane always said she wanted her close friends as bridesmaids at her dream destination wedding. Our narrator is thrilled to be a bridesmaid, but as Jane and her fiancé start planning, they realize a big wedding is expensive. They decide on a tiny wedding in Colorado with only immediate family. No friends invited, no bridesmaids physically at the ceremony. However, Jane still wants the full bridesmaid experience. A big bridal shower, a wild bachelorette weekend in Scottsdale, the narrator and others live in Tennessee so flights are needed, and expensive gifts from a registry. All this while, none of them are invited to the wedding itself. The narrator feels it's ridiculous. If they aren't in the wedding or even invited to the ceremony, why should they pay for a lavish bachelorette party? The friend group is split. Some say, just go along with it, it's her wedding. Others think it's absurd. She's asking for all the wedding perks without including them in the main event. The narrator wonders if she'd be the asshole for telling Jane that if they're not invited to the wedding, they won't be throwing a huge bachelorette weekend. Angela. Oof, that's tough. I get couples scaling down their wedding, but if you're cutting friends from the guest list, don't expect them to fund your big parties. The bridesmaid experience is a two-way street. It's about celebrating together. If I'm not important enough to be at your ceremony, I'm not important enough to pay hundreds for a bachelorette trip. Chance. Exactly. If she wants something small and intimate, cool, but don't try to have your cake and eat it too. A big, lavish bachelorette party is a traditional part of a wedding where friends invest time and money because they're honored guests at the main event. Without that, the expectations should shift. The narrator wouldn't be an asshole for setting boundaries. Shane. I agree. Communication is key. Jane might not realize how it looks. Maybe the narrator should have an honest talk. Hey, since we're not attending the ceremony, we're not comfortable spending big on the bachelorette. Perfectly fair. Story 3. The labor fiasco. This is a heavy one. A husband wrote in explaining that his wife went into labor on a Sunday at 6 p.m. They were expecting twins. Labor was tough and painful. Obviously, she was gripping his hand, nearly vomiting from the pain. Around 3 a.m., the husband's father calls. The dad says he needs the husband to attend a big work presentation Monday morning. The dad tells him there's nothing he can do at the hospital anyway, and seeing the baby come out is overrated. The dad urges him to leave his laboring wife to rest and make himself presentable for the meeting. The husband thinks, yeah, I can't do anything here. My dad's counting on me. So he tells his screaming wife he's leaving. She flips out, nurses rush over, and he leaves anyway. He attends the presentation, it goes well. He returns and finds out his twins were delivered at around 10 a.m. The wife is furious. She feels betrayed and alone during the hardest moment of her life. The husband defends himself. I had responsibilities, and my dad gave me everything. My wife overreacted. Even his mother-in-law calls the wife emotional. Now the husband wonders, is he an asshole? Angela. I'm boiling. This is just atrocious. Your wife is giving birth to your children, and you leave for a presentation? A father or boss who says childbirth is overrated is horrifying. The husband is 100% the asshole. He abandoned her at a crucial, vulnerable time. Chance. Agreed. No job presentation is worth missing the birth of your children, especially when your wife is begging you to stay. This is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. He failed as a partner. If I were the wife, I'd be livid. Shane. I see no defense. The man chose his dad's approval and a work meeting over his family. Everyone called him the asshole. And rightly so. Story 4. The maid of honor's dress dilemma. Here's another wedding conflict. A younger sister is the maid of honor at her older sister Tori's wedding. Initially, the maid of honor, MOH, found a gorgeous lavender dress, unique and flattering. She sent pictures to Tori, who said, yeah, it's nice, but didn't finalize it. Months pass, and suddenly Tori announces all bridesmaids, including the MOH, will wear the same infinity dress, a simple uniform style that can be worn multiple ways. The MOH hates it, calling it plain and boring, and argues that as the maid of honor, her dress should stand out. Tori insists everyone match. The MOH says no. Tori threatens, wear it or don't come to my wedding. Now the parents and brothers side with the MOH, saying Tori is overreacting and inconsiderate. The family can't believe they're fighting over this. The question, is the MOH an asshole for refusing to wear the same dress? Angela. Honestly, if I'm maid of honor, I'd respect the bride's decision. This is her wedding. Maid of honor often stands out with a slightly different bouquet or a subtle detail, but expecting a completely different dress is not mandatory. The MOH here sounds selfish. Chance. I understand wanting a unique look, but at the end of the day, it's not your wedding. The bride chooses. If the bride wants uniformity for the photos or aesthetic, so be it. The MOH gave other options, and the bride changed plans. Maybe it's stressful. The MOH should just go along and not cause drama. Shane. It's a bridesmaid's job to support the bride, not add stress. Unless the chosen dress was uncomfortable or humiliating, just wear it. The MOH is being an asshole by making it about herself. Story 5. A joke that toppled a marriage and spoiled an engagement party. Now for a doozy. Our narrator, along with his wife and child, often meets with a group of friends who have kids. One friend, Emma, was his college roommate. She's married with kids. They sometimes all hang out at family-friendly venues, pools, playgrounds, etc. Our narrator has a 5-year-old son. When out playing, he brings extra toys, inviting other kids to join to help his son learn social skills. One day, he and his wife go to a public pool. Emma texts that she might join them later with her kids. He and his son arrive early and start playing with water pistols. Another kid joins them, a friend from kindergarten. The kids play happily, and the kid's mom and the narrator's wife go swim, leaving him to watch the kids. Emma arrives late with her kids. Everyone's having fun. The kindergarten kid, who looks a bit like the narrator, runs up asking for another toy. Emma comments, "Oh my God, he looks just like you." The narrator laughs and says, "That's not my kid." It's a small funny moment. Everyone chuckles and forgets it. Fast forward months later at a group gathering. As everyone's leaving, the narrator tries to tease Emma. He says something to Emma's husband like, "Hey, can you call my wife and kid over? Just make sure it's actually my kid, not some kid who looks like me." He thinks it's a playful callback to that pool incident. Instead, Emma's husband looks confused, angry, and storms off. Emma looks mortified. The narrator is perplexed. Later, no reply from Emma. He thinks maybe he offended her. He tries again to contact her, but nothing. Eventually, at an engagement party, he shows up last minute. Emma is there. She's furious. She never expected him to be at this event. In front of everyone, she yells at him for his joke. It turns out Emma's husband took the joke as confirmation of some previous family drama where someone's kid actually resembled another man who was cheating. That caused big problems in Emma's husband's family. Now he believes Emma is repeating the same scenario, maybe implying Emma had cheated or that our narrator mocked them intentionally. This escalates. Emma's husband has left her. They're separated. Everyone at the engagement party is now talking about this drama instead of celebrating. The engaged couple blames the narrator for overshadowing their event. Emma blames him for ruining her marriage. He had no idea about this backstory. Angela. This is so Larry David. The narrator made a harmless joke, unaware of the landmine beneath. Emma's overreaction is insane. If their marriage collapsed over a misunderstanding, it was already fragile. He's not an asshole for not knowing. Emma should have warned him, or explained the sensitivity of such jokes. Chance. Agreed. He had no clue. It's unfortunate, but you can't blame him for triggering a hidden domino effect. The marriage was probably doomed. He's collateral damage in their drama. Shane. I feel bad for him. He apologized profusely, but Emma doubled down, and now everyone hates him. Later, he updates the story, revealing even more insane layers. Emma's family drama, cheating rumors, complicated lies about affairs that never happened. It turns out Emma tried to spin him into a fake affair story to anger her husband.